great virtual learners, Too Good for Drugs. I hope you are staying safe and healthy. In the next 10 weeks, we will discuss many different topics that to keep you a healthy, happy, and confident person. The first 4 weeks, we'll talk about social emotional skills. We'll talk about decision making. We'll talk about goal setting, and we'll talk about identifying and managing your emotions, and we'll also talk about bonding in relationships. And week 6 through 10, we'll talk about the drug portion of Too Good for Drugs. We'll talk about tobacco, alcohol, street drugs, and prescription over-the-counter drugs. So before you start today's lesson, make sure that you do the pre-test that's on your Schoology page. So you go to your wellness link, and you should find the Too Good for Drugs 7th grade pre-test. So please do that first before you start today's lesson. Now, today's lesson, we're going to talk about setting and reaching goals. A reachable goal requires planning and commitment to reaching it. Who can tell me the difference between a short-term goal and a long-term goal? Well, a short-term goal is a goal that you can do within a week, maybe a month. A long-term goal is a goal that may take some time down the year, such as going to college or graduating high school. Today's lesson, we're going to set a lot of short-term goals. And one of the first short-term goals you're going to set is trying to get to grandma's house using the fastest route. So I want everybody to turn to page 2. And as you see, you have a map to show you how to get to grandma's house. Now, with this map, I want you to look at the rules of the road before you start to try to get to grandma's house. Now, here are some of these rules. Now, these rules are listed in your workbook above the map. And one of the rules is, you have to travel along the roads from start to goal. Then at each intersection, choose your path by following one of the arrows. And you can only make turns where there is a curved line, and you can only go forward when there is a straight line. And you may exit an intersection only at the head of an arrow. And U-turns are not allowed. All right? Now, try to, every time you pass a street, write down the street name to grandma's house. Now, the first one is done for you. And it says, go east on Main Street. Then when you do that, and every time you pass a road, make sure that you write down the street names on the direction page. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, well, this is kind of tough, and you have plenty of time to get to grandma's house, and you probably found a quicker way than the 8 or the 5 ways to get there to grandma's house on the directions. So, if you're having trouble with your directions, I want you to look at page 3, where you get another chance to get to grandma's house, and look on page 24, which is the last page of the book. And here, it'll give you all the directions to get to grandma's house. But first, do page 2 to see if you got close, okay? Now, I want everybody to turn to page 4 in the section titled Design Your Goal. And these are the 6 steps and the 4 goal naming criteria to reach your goal. Now, the first step to reach your goal is name it. You have to name your goal, all right? Then underneath name it are the 4 goal naming criteria, okay? Now, the first criteria, your goal has to be personal. It must be something that you want to accomplish. The second goal naming criteria is possible. Be sure that you have time and abilities and resources to reach your goal. The third is positive. Make sure that you have positive action and you saying, I can reach my goal, to boost your self-confidence. And the 4th goal naming criteria is specific. Make sure your goal needs to be something that's particular and measurable, and you know when you successfully completed that goal. All right? Now, second step to reaching the goal is picture yourself reaching it. Picture yourself reaching your goal so you know what you are aiming for. Third step is say I can. 4th step is think how to do it, and most of the time you will list action steps to think how to do your goal and resources, which are people or things that help you reach your goal. 5th is go for it. And 6 is celebrate your success. Now, I want everybody to look on page 4, on the right-hand corner where it says goal getter. And I want you to read information, and I want you to pick one of the scenarios for each teenager, and I want you to go through the 6 steps and the 4 goal naming criteria to reach a goal, all right? So we're going to read them together. First we have Emmett. Emmett plays the saxophone in the school band and loves it, and he's been playing almost every day for the past 6 months and has really perfected his sound. Number 2, Tatum loves dogs and always has wanted a dog of her own. She dog sits for neighbors as much as possible and volunteers to walk their dogs after school. Her commitment and hard work has shown her dad that she is dependable and reliable, and thinks she's ready for the responsibility of owning a dog. Third is Diego. Diego's favorite activity is drawing. He takes a drawing class at the community center and on weekends, and is learning to add more detail in his drawings. 4 is Lorraine. Lorraine has been fishing for bluegills with her brother in the pond behind the house for as long as she can remember. She loves the sport of fishing and has moved from catching bluegills and catching bass. She's learned how to cast and now knows how to get hooks out of the fish without hurting them. So I want you all to pick one of these teenagers of the goals, and I want you to go through the steps of how to reach a goal. Now, when you do that, I want you to look on page 5 where it says goal keeper, and you're going to write down your own short-term goal. It can be anything, a goal, but it can be a goal that you can do within a week. So next Thursday, when I see you, you have accomplished that goal. So when you write down my short-term goal is it personal to you? Is it possible? Is it positive? And is so specific? Do you have a specific time that you're going to accomplish that goal? Next, after you go through the goal naming criteria, I want you to go to the goal-getter steps and write down 4 actions you're going to take to accomplish your goal, all right? Next, I want you to look at my resources and write down 3 people or things that you can rely upon for help to reach your goal. So work towards your goal for next Thursday, and next week we will start lesson 2, which will be our decision-making lesson.